make that down a little bit. I'll be starting super shortly. Welcome to another exciting episode of FPL Dave's Monday After. This is the Wildcard special, and I'm super. Oh, and I've got the wrong screen up. And I'm super excited because we're going to be going over everything Wildcard. I'm going to take my glasses off because again it is rubbish in this light. There we go. Now you're not seeing all my screens. I'm going to turn this light on. And I've got my drink and we're ready to go. How is everyone doing today? Hope everyone is doing as well as me. I have taken the day off. Today is Monday at the time that we're doing this. Monday, of course, Monday after. And I took the entire day off and I've been poring over the stats the whole time. And I'm really excited to get into it. So we don't have a lot of time and we have a shit ton of things to go through. So I'm just going to like jump right into it. Alright, Stealth Panda, no worries. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, so we got way too much to do. So quickly recap game week 33. Chelsea haven't played yet, playing West Ham in about an hour and a half, and that's the reason why we are a little bit early here today, team. But other than that, yeah, wildcard is going well. The tinkering you can see on the screen there. There's loads to dissect, and I'm feeling that everyone has got the same kind of. Oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know who to go. I don't know where to jump to. I don't know if I should be getting this player. I don't know if they're too risky. What about this? Blah blah blah. There's so much. It's way worse when you have to consider your bench as well as the rest of the fixtures. It's not like our free hit where we could just go, these are the best for this week and that's it. I wish that was the case again. But again, it's kind of exciting this way. So game week 33, I haven't actually changed my game week points or anything like that yet. Let's go ahead and do that right now. My game week points that I am sitting on, let's go and triple check, is 43. Awesome. My game week rank right now is 714. So I have a tiny little red arrow, and we're 430k in the week. Awesome. So the game week 33 went okay. I've still got Kepa and Hazard to play, but there you go. That's the biggest issue right there. Was Mane on the captaincy. Figured that he was the safest to go for because Salah had so many people dropping him, and that wasn't the case. And then Salah decided to score for the first time away in ages, over 2 months. But I have all the players that everyone was captaining, so I'm doing not too bad. And of course, Lejeune, or however you pronounce him, is definitely my player of the week. He decides to get injured after tackling someone else, goes off in the 65th minute, then 10 minutes later or whatever, Crystal Palace score. So Lejeune, you're right here, buddy. Thank you so much. Hope speedy recovery. You're never going to be in my team again. Not from anything you did, just Newcastle don't have a double. It's not you, it's FPL. So, but thank you very much for that clean sheet. Pereira got an assist. Chilwell decided to not get a clean sheet. That's the, I think, 4th or 5th time in a row that I've had a double up in Leicester City and they decide not to get a clean sheet. What can you do? Made the wrong call there. But Vardy doing bits. Welcome to the Vardy club. Everyone who came this week, bringing him in, and thumbs up to everyone who actually captained him, because that is such a good punt. It's such a good differential week to do that. Wish I did it, didn't do it, and I'm paying for it. I could have had an even better green arrow. So yeah, so that's game week 33 out of the way. We're still going. Hopefully Hazard doesn't go too nuts because he is the biggest captaincy of this week. And if you're watching this after the games, and you can tell by my face if I've got an actual red arrow now that you're watching that. At least I don't know yet, so we're all good. And I hope they keep a clean sheet, though I haven't had much luck on that front except for Lejeune. So yeah, so game week 33 done. First wildcard tinker. Let's do it. Bam. Alright, this was the very first team that I made. I'm still working on it. I've actually spent all day looking over all the stats, looking over all the options, and writing up my Monday after post. What I do know is right off the bat is that this is definitely not how it's going to stay. I haven't decided whether I want Pogba in yet. I haven't decided whether I want Aguero in yet. I definitely know that I want Eriksen though, and that is a big thing, right? So last week Eriksen did really, really well for the free hit crew, but unfortunately his actual goals and assists for me weren't that great, but he actually added to how well his stats were, and now he is top. Eriksen is top for shots outside the box in the top 6, top for shots outside the box, top for chances created, or tied top for chances created, and definitely top for key passes. He also has crosses, corners, direct free kicks. You know, like he is actually doing really, really well stat-wise, and his fixtures are incredible, and that's what we're going to go into first. Is the best teams for the double game week in terms of their fixtures. Now, double game week and beyond, we can't forget that we do actually have our wild cards, not our free hits, so it means we have to take into consideration the next bunch of things. So I'm gonna slide that over because I've taken a picture this week, guys. I figured it out. See, instead of just constantly having to refresh this, I've decided I'll just take a picture of it, and then we won't have to refresh it all the time. Although that kind of looks ridiculously bad, but you guys get the picture, okay? So first up, this is a view of all the best fixtures between game week 34 and game week 38. It also includes, as you can see, all the doubles. So it takes those into consideration when rating them. Now, first things first to note, and we probably all felt that in ourselves, right, when we were going through our own teams, is that Liverpool, we can't not have them in. Their fixtures for the rest of the year, especially the rest of the season, especially since that there is still a title race on, means that we can't get rid of them. We just can't. Having said that, Salah is so expensive that it's difficult to maneuver your team with him in it. The sacrifices are just the same as when we were doing our free hit and we were trying to get Kane in. It was just too difficult, and we were glad in the end that we didn't do that. But it's a little different now because Salah's actually decided to score, and a lot of managers are assuming that he's going to go on and do really, really well. So that's a bit of an issue, but the good thing about Salah is that a lot of us have actually lost money on him, so it's not like we're going to lose value. We already have done that, and taking him out for a distribution of his value, or indeed just moving it on to Kane, is something that a lot of managers will be doing. Mane is a lot easier to manage in your team, so keeping him is maybe a good idea for the rest of them, or at least getting him back in, because he isn't just all of a sudden rubbish now that Salah's in contention again for being good, right? He's still good. He's still going to be finding that those spaces that Salah creates by pulling the other defenders out, yada yada yada. We all know how good Mane is. Second thing to note is that I have Robertson still, because I have a lot of value tied up in him. But if I didn't, I'd probably be downgrading to Trent Alexander-Arnold to save some cash, because he's still going to be played a lot. Although he did get taken off because he was playing really, really shit against whoever they were playing last game. And I watched the game. Who are you playing? Tell me your secrets. Ugh. Southampton, that was the one. So he actually caused the goal, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and was taken off at half time for Milner, who played a lot better, who kept this space between him and the wingers a lot better, didn't leave anything behind him. So Milner actually played a lot better. Having said that, though, I still think Trent Alexander-Arnold's their first choice, and I would probably be downgrading. So that's Liverpool covered and out of the way. That is the only single game team that I'm going to actually be keeping in my team. I don't want Chelsea. I don't want Brighton. No, is it Brighton? No, it's Cardiff. I don't want Cardiff, who have a double this time and I go on the next time. Even though they have a double here and there are a few players that we could get from Cardiff, I'm not about that life. I don't only doubles from here on out. And I actually, and just talking about Brighton, I really do want them for game week 34. For here, for these guys, but I really don't want them for here. So I will be taking them out of my team and moving them on for someone else. I'm not 100% sure yet what that'll look like, because I do want Watford players, but it's the exact opposite, right? I don't want Watford because they're playing Arsenal, but I do probably want Watford as they have the second or third easiest double up, right? So we can see here Southampton, then it goes Tottenham, and then finally wait, is that Arsenal, and then where are they? Watford here, fourth best. Southampton and Huddersfield. Like that is a really, really, really good. Actually, you know what? I think I have them here. Where are we now? This is it. This is just. I knew it was going to refresh. Right, just looking at game week 5. I'm pretty sure Watford have the best. Yeah, there it is, right there. I was looking at the wrong one. They have the best double up. So you really do want them for the double game week. It's just a case of who. And unfortunately, Deulofeu got injured-ish. He might have just been tired. Or he might actually be injured. We don't know yet. Holebas was limping and came off with a bit of a sore leg as well. He definitely wanted to come off, and I think he came back on out of necessity. And Kiko Firmino is a bit injured, and he got taken off, maybe tired. We don't know, right? Playing 100 plus minutes in a row is difficult to do. I can't do it. Even though these are professional players, they are running like crazy, cramp, all sorts of stuff can happen. So yeah, we don't know what's happening with Watford, but it's good that we have this little buffer between game week 34 and game week 35 to see what's up. But I will be moving on, I think, every single one of my my Brighton players that I have. So this is them here, and I will probably be trading it out for Foster, and if he's available, because he is their best defender. And then I don't think I've got enough for Deulofeu, but I'll be having a look to see who else I want, right? If Holebas is injured and he doesn't want to play anymore, then I might go for Yamat, who's came back into the team and has been actually playing almost every game. He's been playing quite well in terms of crossing the stats and stuff, but I haven't looked into it enough. These are the players that I were looking into, and now 2 out of 3 of them are injured. So it's a bit rubbish, but you know, they don't really care about me, and that's fine. That's fine with me. They don't care enough to stay injured for my wild card. I'm not going to hold it against them. I really do want them to be fit though, because I think that's a decent team. I want my out by 0.7. We'll make it work somehow. How about do this? There we go. So second team that I want to talk about, and go back to the double, is Southampton. Southampton have decided that they're just going to have decent fixtures for the rest of the season. Right there, top. However, looking at their stats, they're actually poor, just very poor. They looked good against Liverpool, they've looked good against teams like Man United, etc., but they actually don't, stats-wise, have anything underlying that we can relate to. Ings is someone who everyone had, someone who a lot of managers had, or had their eye on at least, back in, you know, the middle of the season, or perhaps even at the start. Some players were like, you know what, I'm going to get in on that ground running because he was so cheap. He did well, but he hasn't played, so I can't actually look at anything. I can't see his stats, I can't see how he's going to shape and what the team will look like if he's in it. We just know that he's no longer injured and is in contention for the next match. So that's an issue right there. So that's number 1. Number 2 is that I'm not familiar with Southampton enough to be giving you guys just amazing advice. I've been watching all the top 6. I've been watching Wolves, we've been watching Newcastle, even Crystal Palace, etc. Like, we've been watching a lot of them, but unfortunately Southampton have just kind of been flying under the radar. And so that's what I've been doing today a lot, is really getting to know these teams that I haven't actually been looking at. So watching past games, looking at the stats, looking up deeper stats from before the last couple of game weeks. Let me have a look at what I've written here. Okay, so they do have the second best fixtures till the end of the season, so it's not like we're not going to be able to use them if they're sitting on our bench for a bench boost. And they enjoy the second easiest double of game week 35 as well, right? There's loads of bargains in that bin. And it really is a bin. They haven't been playing well. They look good, but they haven't, stats wise, are not doing well. So you've got Valerie 4.1, you've got Redmond 5.3, Hodgeberg I've literally never tried to say his name before. That guy, you know what I'm talking about, 4.4. Ward Prowse, GWP 5.1, and I'm not going to include Ink. So of those players, I think it's rated based on my stats looking. Ward Prowse, JWP has crossing and he has chance creation. Then it goes Hodgeberg. Can anyone tell me how to pronounce his name? Hodgeberg? I need Google to just like read it for me. He has chance creation and shots, and then Redmond just has shots. He doesn't really have much chance creation, and he doesn't have that much crossing either. He's just really a run through the middle, kind of shoot kind of guy. Valerie is probably going to be in a lot of teams simply because he's 4.1 and he's nailed. He's carved out a place in the team. He's played the last 6 games, I think 90 minutes. So he's doing really well for himself. He's a young guy. His crossing isn't the worst. He does cross a fair amount. He can score bangers. We've seen him score in the past. And because he's so cheap, there's no point in not having him. There was a few managers asking me, should we go for like bottom players, Peltier, that kind of thing, in favor of making a little bit more value and increasing our value in other players. But my answer is simply no. Because of the bench boost, we shouldn't have any players that we don't want. Valerie and Hoiberg, whatever, however you say his name, are the cheapest that I would go, 4.4 and 4.1. And they will give you enough value. And if you are still looking to downgrade Valerie to Peltier for that 0.3 million, then whoever it is that you're going up to is probably not worth it. Even if it means going Son instead of Eriksson or something, like just that extra 0.3 million into Valerie is just going to be worth it. What else from Southampton? There's not much. I mean, a lot of people have been going for Ward-Prowse, and he's in my team simply because he was said to be going up in price. But I actually think I'm going to be doing this. Come here, Hodgie. Get in my team. Because the difference of 0.7 million might mean that I can now afford this upgrade. It does, actually. Means I can do this. Oh, I'm 0.1. Is that because he's went up recently? Who knows? Point is, I'm now not 0.8. I'm now 0.1 off of a player I want, right? And Ward-Prowse isn't that much better, stats wise at least. He looks good, but I don't think from the stats that he's worth going that extra mile for. So that's Southampton out of the way. Next team, Tottenham. Like I said at the start, Eriksson is incredible. His stats are incredible. He didn't look great, but he's always through the attack. He's always up in good positions. Every single ball goes through him at least once, which is why he's passing it over to Son, who then takes his one shot a game and goes in, and he gets that assist. It's why when someone's tackled inside the box and the ball is dripping across, he's there to score that. Like, although I wasn't too happy with how he returned in game week 32, the fact that he was there means that his stats look incredible. He's actually beating most players that do his sort of thing. And he's nailed, right? He actually is playing every single game 90 minutes, thereabouts. Son and Ali are rotated, or their minutes are managed because they run a shit ton every single game. And you can see Son is like shattered by the end of 75 minutes. He's the only one in that team that runs unless Ali's in, right? Or Luka Moura. But he is pants, do not get him. So I think Eriksson's better than Son and Ali just simply for that. Second thing I want to say is that we weren't sure whether we wanted to get Kane in our free hit. I am sure that I want Kane for my Wildcard 34. Sure, like he's not going anywhere. And the main reason why he's not going anywhere is because of his fixtures and then his stats. So he has 4 home games left out of 7. He also is playing Huddersfield in 34, which is the easiest game. He's nailed. He never ever gets rested really, unless he's injured or just coming back from injury. And his stats are actually really good. Let me show you this, right? This is going to take a little bit of setup. So if you guys have any questions regarding anything we've talked about, now is the time. Tottenham, we want Man City and Man United. You're going to restart, aren't you? You restarted. So I'm going to put in to this little stat thing. Actually, let's go into stat view. If you guys aren't familiar with this, player analyzed by performance, I'll link this in later on. But we're able to compare players very easily with this. So I'm going to put in all of the players for game week from the top 6. And I'm going to show you how Kane compares to them for the last 5 game weeks. While we listen to some lovely, lovely jazz. Right, we want Arsenal, we want Chelsea. Wish this took a little bit less time. What website is that? Says Dabo. It is this one. I'm just going to link it while it loads. Bam. I don't remember. Someone linked this when I was going through the subreddit, and I've been using it ever since. It's a godsend. Because I don't have enough money to buy the Fantasy Scout one. I don't know how it works. I've never used it before. But this is amazing. And it's free. So, awesome. Right, that's all 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to bring this down to minimum time to get everyone in. And we're going to do the last 5. So 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. Okay, so just to take you through a little bit, Salah has played every single game plus a blank, right? So we're going to take that blank away by moving that down to 32. And this is what I've been looking at. So Kane actually has the most shots. Salah has 17, Kane has 18. Higuain's there with 18 as well. But we're not taking Higuain into consideration because he's not going to be playing a double game week. He also has 1 less on target, okay? In terms of being on target, he's tied with Sterling, so he's tied 3rd. And only Lukaku and Salah have one better in the same time. Kane is most shots inside the box, so it means he's actually getting into the box and doing well. And there's Eriksen with most shots outside the box there. And Eriksen is in for shots total as well. Like he's that's really good. That's really good. Sozi says, would you consider a Spurs triple up on attack, or is that overkill? It's too much money, I think. If, like, there is a lot of players you want, and these guys are some of the most expensive midfielders. I think Kane and Eriksen is enough. I also am trying to get in maybe a defender, but that, like, every single one of their players is premium unless you want to take risks from rotation. I also don't think Son or Ali is going to be playing every minute of the game. So I would suggest maybe toning it down a little bit. Maybe just 2. Zwelly says, hey Dave, any risk of Spurs rotation for the Huddersfield game? Yes. Obviously, they have the Champions League on Tuesday, then they play Huddersfield, then they play another Champions League game. Champions League, although is priority, and this is in contention. I actually posted something on the subreddit, got heavily downvoted, saying that City, if they had to choose, would prioritise the Champions League, and I think Tottenham would as well. The fact that they're 3rd means that they're closer to getting Champions League next year as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if Eriksen played the 90 and Kane played the 90 and Son and Ali got rested for Luka Moura and whoever. So to answer your question, yes, I think there is going to be rotation, and it's not looking good. You've said, Sozi said there would rather take Lloris instead of a defender, and I'm right there with you. Goalkeepers are the best way into defences that have rotation. However, if you do want a City defender, I would say that Ederson is a higher priority than Lloris, just simply because of how many games they're playing and how rotation savvy Pep is. Whereas it's kind of the same for the same starting lineup most of the time for specific players like Eriksen, the centre backs, a few of the centre midfielders, Kane. Whereas no one is safe in City. But anyway, so that's Eriksen there, right? And Kane is also, he came back from injury and we're like, oh, he doesn't look like the Kane of old, blah, blah, blah. He does now. He definitely does now. He's top. He's top for shots. He's top for shots in the box. You can't get better than that. That's pretty much prime Kane. I mean, prime Kane was doing even better than these players, than all the other players, right? But it's not as bad as we had thought. So he's in my team. He's staying in my team. He's going nowhere. The same as Eriksen. And Eriksen is even, chance creation is there, and he does some crosses here and there as well. 20 actually in the last 4 games. So that's really, really good. So that's Tottenham. In terms of their defence, there hasn't been a Tottenham defender that has played more than 5 games in a row, or more than 4 games in a row, I think. Aurier is injured, so Trippier is there. The 2 centre-backs do play, but it's not, they get rotated with that Foyth guy, or their minutes are managed. It's very strange to have this much rotation at the back, and then Rose is also rotated, so I'm not 100% sure on the defence yet. If I had to pick one, that was Trippier, and that's who I'm trying to keep in my team. Right, Arsenal probably has been, not Arsenal, Chelsea has been released now, so let's go have a look to see what, I'm going to take my team, you guys can see my beautiful face. I'm going to go check the Chelsea lineup. This is live Chelsea lineup. And Loftus-Cheek, Hudson-Odoi, Hazard, Higuain. Oh wow, he's benched Pedro and Willian. And Kepa's playing, who was the only one I was really worried about. Well, that's cool. It's actually going to be an interesting game now. In terms of Chelsea, I just want to make it very clear, I'm not going to have any Chelsea players, and neither should you, for your wild card, because Chelsea don't have good games going forward. After it either. Where are they? There they are. Chelsea, so they play Liverpool, then they have a single game week, then they play Man United. Watford at home is okay. Leicester away, iffy. Even if you could say that Hudson-Odoi was 100% going to be starting game week 34 and 35, I wouldn't get him. 4.2 for 4.4, you could have Hoyge right here. This guy, you could have him for 0.2 more, who's playing 2 games and is definitely 100% nailed. So I don't know. I'm not going to be getting any Chelsea guys. Right, who's the next team? I'm flying through this because we literally only have an hour till the game starts, and there's so much. I am talking very, very fast, and I'm aware. Maybe I should actually do 2 streams. I don't know. What do you guys think? I could do 2 streams and maybe do one on Thursday or something and just go through it. And we can maybe skip viewer rate my teams until now. We'd have more information on Thursday as well, which would be interesting. Alright, Liam, how's it going? How's things? You're here every week, man. Well done. And thank you, by the way. Just everyone, you know what? Let's stop with FPL for 2 seconds. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I've been doing this now for maybe 5 or 6 weeks, and it's always the same people coming. We have a new people here and there, but thank you so much for coming and listening to me just talk absolute shit about FPL. I think maybe this is the only reason why this rank right here is the only reason why anything that I say holds weight. But to be honest, this is my first time really taking this game seriously, and I started doing the articles in game week 8 or 9 because I figured all of the podcasts that I listen to come out on the Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, and really Monday is when I make I start to mess around, and Sunday is when all the changes happen in prices. So I figured I'll just consolidate everything that I know and put it out on a Monday, and the reception's been amazing. It's allowed me to start this, allowed me to talk to so many awesome people. So yeah, thank you guys very much for coming and listening to me rant about fucking Aguero and shit. It's a lot of fun, and I really do enjoy this, so thanks. I'm going to take a drink for you guys. Thank you very much. Usually, drinks are reserved for Ericsson or Lejeune or whoever, but you guys get a drink. Thanks, team. You're the best. You helped me out in my hour of need, says Liam. Liam, I am the hero that you guys didn't need nor deserve nor nothing. You guys don't need it, but you're welcome. Wait, you do deserve it. What? I didn't mean that. I just meant, like, you guys could totally do this without me, but the fact that you guys are here is awesome. So, well then, I'm going to stop now. Who did we just do? We just did Tottenham. So let's keep going. Arsenal. Arsenal's a big one. Arsenal played so shit against Everton, and because it was the only real game on that day, and it was the one that most people were watching, and the fact that it was so close to now means that it's all in our heads like Arsenal are shit. We can't have them in our team. Now, yes, that's kind of true. They did play really bad. They have a horrible away record. But there's not many cheaper options than Kolasinac, that is in the top 6 as a premium player. And he has a lot more than just clean sheet potential in his locker. Aubameyang's out. He was maybe in contention. He is no longer in contention. Emery decided to bench him again like a twat. Even Arsenal fans think he's a twat. Very annoying to watch. Because Aubameyang's their best player, or at least their most prolific goal scorer. It's maybe sick of him missing tap-ins. I don't know. I was definitely sick of him missing tap-ins at the start of the season and towards the middle of the season. Whereas Lacazette, I've only had him once. I brought him in. He scored 3 games in a row. Lacazette has been doing bits, by the way. If we look at him, I know I've just changed him, right? But look at that. 9, 7, 5, 4, 8, 7. The only game he blanked in was that one. And they all looked bad against that one. So that, it might just been tactical. I'm not 100% sure. The fact that we need to decide who we want for the rest of the season, though, I can understand why people don't want Kolasinac in their team anymore. 8-4, then blank, because he got rested. Then he got a clean sheet for his home games. And then another blank. And that is really it. It's home versus away fixtures for Tottenham, and not Tottenham, Spurs. Spurs is Tottenham. For Arsenal, David. Spurs hate Arsenal. Yeah, we've got Watford here, Crystal Palace, Wolves. Those are the games that we're looking to bring them in for, really. We could change anything we want after it. But it's away, home, away, away, home, away. And their away game sucks. So Lacazette isn't really someone who cares too much about clean sheets, so the away form doesn't really matter. And to him, as we've seen there, when we look at his actual history, he has been doing well. But then again, they keep having, if you've noticed, if you've actually looked into it, they have so many home games. Look, they've got 2 homes there, then an away, and it was Huddersfield, so that was fine. He scored against that. Then they had another 2 homes. Then they had away. Then they had another 2 home games. Then they had away. Since here, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus 1, 2, 3, 4 away games. So, do we think that Lacazette's form is because they've been playing mostly at home, or do we think he's actually a grafter and been playing well? We don't know. And another thing is Socrates got another yellow, which means he's got 2 games banned. So are they going to play 4 at the back and play safe with Monreal, and Kolasinac is going to be benched? Or are they going to be playing just Koscielny and Monreal and Mustafi as a 3, and then keep playing Kolasinac kind of as their wing back, full back, winger thing that he was trying to do against Everton, and then was taken off for Aubameyang, who did nothing anyway. So there's a lot of uncertainty now with Arsenal, and that's the issue I have. So I've actually been trying to slowly work my way of getting them out of my team. I'm not 1,000% sure what I'm going to do there, but if we take my team, and this is kind of what I want to do with it, and we have to talk about this guy as well. What a player. So if we do this, right, I actually have enough money for this. Nope, not him. Aguero, that's the one. So I've got enough money to do this and have the players I want if I take Pogba out, which I'm not sure yet, so I haven't done it because I've got money tied up in him. But then I could do something like this, right? I could get the Trippier who I want. I could do loads of stuff with that money because I've taken away that. And Ramsey's not expensive enough that he would ruin it if he didn't play both games. Like, he's definitely a punt, but he's been the man of the match. He's done bits. He always looks lively. He looks like he's going to score every time he gets the ball. He's just doing well, and it's very difficult to get into the Arsenal attack without having Lacazette or Aubameyang, and even Aubameyang's a bit dodgy. So would you go for Ozil? No, he was shite and is rotated too much. Iwobi's the exact same, although he is cheap, so you could take a punt on him, and I would rather take a punt on him than Ozil or Mkhitaryan or Aubameyang. But Ramsey actually is playing good. Like, he's actually in form right now. And it doesn't matter if he's home or away, right? So he scored away against Tottenham, which is huge. And he also did well against Newcastle. So, and here is the only thing that bothers me is that those 45 minutes there. That's kind of annoying that he didn't play, but he was kind of injured. So, again, there's a lot of uncertainty with Arsenal, and it's annoying because they have one of the best fixtures for the doubles, which we can see right here. Please don't restart. It restarted. I should have taken a picture of everything I wanted. Ah, well, this one's faster to sort. So, game week 35, one fixture, Arsenal. Go. Arsenal here, Crystal Palace and Wolves, Southampton's better, and then Watford. So it goes Watford, then Southampton, then Arsenal, then Tottenham, then Brighton, then Man City, then Man United. So I think right there, just looking at that makes me not want Pogba. If I was going to choose Arsenal players to get, it would be Lacazette, and then it would be probably safe Leno or centre back, and then it would be Cola and then Ramsey. So I'm not 100% sure what I want to do with Ramsey. We'll need to see. But yeah, let's move on. Let's move on to Man City and Man United. Two very, very poor games that they have. Man United play Everton, who are on the form of their entire being right now. They're just, it doesn't matter if they're playing away or home or against the top six or not, like they're just smashing it. And it's really annoying because everyone took all their assets out and then they started doing well. It would have been nice had they done well when I had them in, but I take them out and they do good then, along with everyone else here. Fuck you, Everton. just the worst timing. But yeah, no, made up for them. They've done really, really well, and I think they came together because back like 6 game weeks, we're talking about them actually, firing Silva. Like and Paddy Power were talking about it, and we were discussing it here. So it's cool to see now Everton going on their best run, and it might be because of that. We don't know. All we know is that Man United are going up against Everton in the best form. Man United have Champions League. They have a bit of an injury issue, and they're out of form now. Like against Wolves, they just played pants, etc., etc. On top of that, Man United have a derby, and we just don't know how that's going to go. Man City versus Man United is always a bit of a mental one, and it's too hard to call ever. So I wouldn't get any Man United players, I don't think. I haven't made my mind up 100%, that's why I haven't taken Pogba out, but I'm 90% sure that I'm going to get rid of him. If we look at the fixtures going on for the rest of the season, Man United are right there, and they have these two bad boys at the end of the season. So it's not like we can't have them ever. Like in game week 37, Aguero for Lacazette or something. I don't know. Where's City? Right below them. Leicester and Brighton. I don't know. Changing to a Lukaku or a Rashford or a Pogba will be easy in 37, but it's very difficult to think about getting them now. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Man United, in or out? It's like I'm making a decision right here and I haven't actually thought about it before the stream, and it makes it look like I haven't actually done any work, but I've been like thinking about it and over obsessing all day. So, hello. It's FPL Dave, and I have no idea if I want Pogba or not. How's it going, man? You said Digne to Pereira was so popular. Looks like template 3 strikers will be Digne, Jimmy, and Kane. I do need to come in for go talk about Watford soon. Actually, you're right. Liam says the same. Have you looked into Watford players? Dabo says that's what I'm going with as well. I'm not convinced on Digne though. Yeah. Let's move on. Man United. Man City. I think I'll come to them last. We'll go through them with premium players, right? Because most of them are premium players. So this is it's Watford now is the last one. And Wolves as well. But we all know we want Jimenez. We all know that Jota's good. We all know that most people have Doherty. So there's not much else to discuss there for Wolves. You either have 3 Wolves or 2 Wolves. You're not going to have just one. If you've had Doherty this whole time, what's the point in not having him for the rest of it? If you want Jota or Jota, however you pronounce that guy's name, then go for it. I think there's a little bit easier ways, and he's a wee bit expensive considering you have like JWP or Højbjerg or whoever for your 5th midfielder. But if you got $1 million to spend, you could just upgrade him, and that's fine with me. Jimenez is a rank fucking killer, guys. He's a killer. If you don't have Jimenez, you need Jimenez. If you're wanting differential and you want to go against the grain, then don't have him. Not having him is a differential enough. Just go Dini and Lacazette and Aguero or someone. Do whatever. But yeah, this is the first time I'm going to have Jimenez. I actually had him for less than a game week. I didn't play him. I think I brought him in, seen how good Rashford was, I immediately took him out. Then Kane got injured, so I went to Aguero and I had to take Jimenez out because I couldn't get Rashford and Aguero without him. So I brought him in and immediately took him out for a hit. And he still did really well. So this is the first time I've actually ever owned him. And I know firsthand how horrible it is when he scores and your rank just goes. And I'm in 714 right now, as of we're talking, without Jimenez. Think of how fucking amazing my shit would be if I had Jimenez. It's annoying. It angers me. I'm laughing, but this is real pain. So yeah, Wolves. We know the script with Wolves. I'm not going to go over them too much. Anna Saleh says, I hope I just didn't absolutely demolish your name there. Sorry, buddy. Says Jota. Yeah, I mean, he's the only midfielder that I would go for. Says never owned Jimmy as well. Yeah, like, you know my pain, brother. You know it. Okay, so who are we going for? Watford. Now, Watford is the team that I know the least about, I think. I'm pretty sure, other than maybe Southampton. Now, Watford just beat Wolves, and that is an upset, even though it was at home. We all thought Wolves were going to win. They thought they were going to win, pulling masks on and shit. And then an amazing Deulofeu goal. And then a really silly Dendoncker giving away a penalty. And then another goal in extra time. So Watford have the best double game, Southampton and Huddersfield. So you're going to want them in. The only problem is, like I said at the start, is that Deulofeu is the one we want, Dini's the one we want, and Holebas is probably their best defender, right? Too many goalkeepers, no point in figuring that out. There's actually a lot of strikers. See, to get Dini in the team, you need to not want Lacazette or Aguero, or Jimenez, like if you got Kane and Jimenez as a standard, you need to pick Dini or Aguero. That's difficult. I don't care how difficult or how bad the double game week is for Man City. Not having Aguero going forward for the rest of the game, for the rest of the season, I still think of this as a game. For the rest of the season is going to be tough. Like, I mean, you could do so much more with it. You could go Sterling or Kevin De Bruyne. You could still have a piece of that pie and go Dini, but that's tough. And I'm not going to make that decision. That Dini seems like a fairy tale fourth attacker that I can't achieve where I am right now. However, if you're going for just differentials, if you've thought like, oh fuck it, I'm in the top million and I need to do something, Dini, Jimenez and Kane, go for it. But he's just too unobtainable for myself. However, he's on penalties. He's got the best fixtures in the double. Let's have a look at his fixtures going on for the rest of the season. Watford. So they've got Arsenal. We're not going to take Watford players in our wild cards. We're probably going to bring them on after for Brighton players, right? Are we all agreed with that? That's what I'm doing. You guys should probably think about doing that as well. Foster's nailed in my wild card. A pity that Deulofeu got injured. Hopefully he's back before game week 35. Have you considered going Ryan for game week 34 and then moving on to Watford in game week 35? I think I'll probably do another stream just going over viewer rate my teams and the strategies in between the game weeks, because we're running out of time. We only have 38 minutes left until the Chelsea game, and I haven't even spoke about premium players yet. So, but that is something to consider. I'm going to be going Ryan and Dunk or Duffy, whoever I decide to go for, and Knockhart for 3 Watford players, because Southampton, Huddersfield, that's too hard to ignore. Right, so Watford have Southampton, Huddersfield. Don't care about the Arsenal game because we're not going to have them, or I'm not at least. If you guys are, go for it, but they'll probably be in your bench. Maybe you have Dini up there. Then they have Wolves, who they've beaten before, and it's at home. Then they have Chelsea away, which is a bit iffy. And then they have West Ham home, which is a great fixture to close out the season, right? So yeah, I think they could. You're going to have them for 35. You're going to keep them in your team for 36, and then you're probably going to play them 38 and maybe change 1 or 2 37, right? So they actually have longevity as well. They're not just going to sit in your team and do nothing after the doubles. They're going to be playing. Stealth Panda, you have missed a shit ton, my friend. I can't go back over it all, but basically, you want Watford, you want maybe 3 Tottenham players, which is the exact opposite of what we were thinking in Free Hit 32. No Man United. Man City is very difficult. We're going to go over them next. Southampton, yes, but don't go mental because they're Southampton. Drop my pencil, and I'm back. Yeah, I don't think we talked about anything more. No single game week players except for Liverpool. I don't care if Hudson-Odoi is fucking banging in 3 goals tonight and he's nailed, and you can tell me he's nailed for the rest of the season. I'm not getting. MM says -8 just game week after wildcard. Yes. Now, that is something I definitely need to go over because it's not for everyone. I am definitely the type of manager that will just take a hit, and I don't give a shit if it's the game week after I got him. Like I just said with Jimenez, right? I got him, then I seen Rashford playing Tottenham, was like, I want a piece of that. Brought in Rashford for Jimenez, and then Kane got injured, and I was like, oh shit. So yeah, I definitely am not scared of doing a hit, and the fact that we're going to be doubling up on or tripling up on Brighton players for then to have them in game week 35 instead of Watford players is just a sin. I can't do it. Brighton have Wolves and Tottenham, and they are going to get no points. No one's going to get anything. Maybe Knockhart gets a cheeky assist. Maybe Murray plays 110 minutes. Who knows? All I know is that they have great 2 home fixtures, Bournemouth and Cardiff, and then they have really shit fixtures, and I don't want anything to do with them. So I will be changing all my guys. MM said it's brave. I don't think it's brave. It's just calculated, right? I know it's going to happen, so therefore I can make sure that everyone else I do want, and I don't take a hit from game week 35 to 36, for example, right? There's ways that you can balance it out. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's not 100%. I might just take Dunk out and just have Ryan, and therefore it's only a -4. But I mean, it's the end of the season. That's what the hits are all about. It just seems counterintuitive because you're taking hits right after your wild card, right? And I 100% get that. But this was a planned wild card. It's not the same as the previous one where you did it in game week 2 and then you took another 2 hits in game week 3. Like, that's crazy. It's just bad planning. But this is planned, and I've been thinking about this for a long time. So Watford, Delafeu's injured and Holebas is injured, and that's who I want. I'm not going to go for Deeney because I don't have enough space. That doesn't mean he's not a bad pick. He's on penalties, and he's playing really well. He's playing for a team who just beat Wolves, who were also playing really well. No worries, man. Still Panda, thank you very much for coming. I'll speak to you in a little bit. So the only other players that really looked okay stats-wise for Watford when I was looking at it just before the stream, Jan, Matt, Decore, and that's it really. I mean, I really hope Holebas is injury-free, and I really, really hope Delafeu comes back. But the best thing about Watford is we have that buffer, right? The buffer between game week 34 not having him and game week 35 and having him is like really, really key, because we get to see what their lineup is. And if you go for a Watford player now and it turns out Delafeu is injured for 3 weeks, like you're screwed. You're sitting there and you're gonna have to take a transfer hit anyway. So you might as well plan for it afterwards, is what my thinking is. And I have been talking about Knockhart for ages. I've been planning to bring him in. His stats are still out of this world good when you look at them. Let's go into the stats. I'll show you guys Watford and I'll show you guys Brighton. And then we'll move on to premium players, okay? I promise I'll talk to you about premium players. Although we've kind of covered a lot of them, right? Kane, definitely want him. Aguero's a bit iffy. We'll talk about him in a bit. Sterling and Kevin De Bruyne and all that. So in terms of crossing, right, which is kind of, if you think of Knockhart as like a poor man's, where is he, Brighton, a poor man's Maddison, that's the level of kind of crossing you get. Actually, let's compare the two. I'm going to have to get a new playlist, by the way. I was thinking about this. I'm going to have to make a new playlist for the music, because first of all, I've had this on every single time, and it's just because there's not any singing, or there's very little singing. But also, I checked afterwards, because I'm very new to this YouTube thing. I checked afterwards, and every single video that I've ever made for fantasy football has been copyright striked because of the music. And one of them got taken down because I was making fun of Eriksen's goal. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do something about that. So if you guys know anything about, you know, free music or anything that I could play that doesn't have any lyrics or a beat, then let me know. Right, so here we are. We've got all the stats set up. I'm gonna move the minimum minutes down a lot so we can see Maddison and we can see Knockhart. Right, I haven't actually compared these guys before. I just knew it was going to look good, okay? So here we go. Maddison in the chance creation, right? Key pass is 17, Knockhart is 9, but no one is anywhere near Maddison, right? Like Tielemans, no, Knockhart, no, Stevens, no, blah, 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 right? So no one there. But look at this. Look at the crossing. 25 attempted crosses, 14 accurate crosses for Knockhart. Maddison has 33, which is 8 more, but has 4 less accurate crosses than Knockhart. So, oh, you guys can't see that. Sorry. Bam. 10 accurate crosses, 33 attempts. There's about, 30%-ish. Knockhart, more than half, 60%-ish of his crosses find their target. That's huge. That's huge. I want him in my team. I have finally got a chance to have him in my team, and he is now sitting comfortably as my 5th midfielder in my team. So if you guys are looking for, and he's only going to be in here for 1 game week, and then I'm switching him out, hopefully, to this lovely young lad. So yeah, so if you guys have a chance and you've got enough money to maybe, instead of going for Camarasa, go for Knockhart, then do it. He's going to be worth it. If you can't afford him, then the next best enabler, I think, is this little lad who's been playing well and nearly cost me £30 when he scored in game week 32. But he's just so cheap, and he's playing twice, and Cardiff have okay fixtures, at least in the first game week. Right, finally moving on to Man City, because I think it is really important that we talk about it. Okay, let's look at Man City now. Man City have, fixture-wise, which is what I'm always looking at, fixture-wise, that's going to reset, Tottenham and Manchester United. 2 really difficult fixtures. They also have the Champions League, and they also have slight injury issues with Aguero and with, you know, their back line. So what do we do when we want players that are rotation risk and they are slightly injured? We just don't have them, right? We just don't go for them. So why are we still considering Man City for the doubles? I'll tell you why, because they're amazing, right? Going without City is so difficult to even consider. I've been trying to fight the City pull, and what I've discovered is that other than Laporte, everyone's going to be rotated, and even if he isn't rotated, he's going to get. I actually, you know what? I can't see him not being rotated. They have too much at stake in the Premier League and the Champions League. And yes, they want the quad. Yes, they want to go and win everything. But they're going to have to make sacrifices somewhere. And if the sacrifice is playing 90 minutes Laporte every game, he's going to get injured. Or he's going to slow up. He's not going to play well. They're going to concede, blah, blah, blah. Like, there is sacrifices somewhere to be had in here. If they don't change their entire squad and they stay strength at 100% for the next 4 games, including the Champions League, I will eat my keyboard. It's very unlikely. The only person who's nailed is Ederson. That's it. Only person is nailed. And I've put him in my team as like as a keeping my place unless I can think of someone better to get. Ederson is the only person that I would say 100% will play all the games. So if you want a bit of the clean sheet action and you're trying to get Laporte, just go Ederson. Because if Laporte is taken out for Stones or someone, you're going to be raging. You're going to miss out on that clean sheet. And Ederson's going to be sitting there laughing at you. Now the problem is are they going to keep a clean sheet? And the answer is, fuck knows, mate. Like, who knows? We don't know. They're playing really difficult teams. And yes, they have kept clean sheets against these teams before, and yes, they do tend to do well against the top 6. Frequently 0-0 actually, or keep it, like, clean sheets fairly often. So we just don't know how bad the Premier League's going to be. Tottenham aren't that great of a team. They've been playing really, really well statistically, but they have been very poor form-wise of late. So maybe they'll win comfortably in the first game, Man City, and then in the second game they'll just not bother and they'll swap everyone there. They'll probably go for gold in the first game, 2-3-0, and then just kind of hold it out, benching players in the second one. I don't know how Pep's going to do it. No one knows. All we know is that Ederson's nailed and no one else is. So do we go for Aguero? Aguero trained today fine, MM said. Ederson's more nailed than Laporte, absolutely. Spurs / Man U, really unlikely for, I assume you're meaning for rotation. If Aguero does play, he'll have minutes managed, which is fine because we all know he can score a hat-trick before 60 minutes, and that's absolutely fine. If he doesn't play both games, he only plays one, for example, who are you getting instead that has a better chance of outscoring Aguero with 2 games in one? Dini, if he scores 2 goals and Aguero only plays 90 minutes and scores a goal in a bit, like, your overall rank is not going to change that much because not many people are going to have their wild card, let alone go for Dini in their wild card, right? So that's fine. Lacazette, he might score a few games, but he's also rotation risky. So I can't see that. We can keep going down the line, is what I'm saying. Is Aguero could score a hat-trick. He scored a hat-trick against Arsenal, right? He scores hat-tricks against big teams. He scores hat-trick against little teams. He's just a monster. And he only needs to play one game to beat any other striker for the game week, even though they're playing 2 games. So for me, it's definitely a 50-50. You either have him or you don't, but the minutes thing isn't such an issue with someone who scores so well. It is an issue, however, with Sterling, Kevin De Bruyne, David Silva, Bernardo Silva. All the midfielders that they have are going to get rotated at least once. And when we consider what you're looking at on the screen right now, which is Man City's games afterwards, you kind of want a piece of that, right? Burnley away, Leicester home, Brighton away. The issue, again, is that those are the ones that they'll probably most likely be rotated, right? Playing full strength for the Premier League isn't really an option when you're playing the semi-finals of the Champions League. So who would you rather be 100% for? Leicester at home or Juventus, or whoever they get, if they go past Tottenham. If they don't, a lot easier. But then again, if they don't beat Tottenham, you want them even more. If Tottenham win 5-0 on Tuesday, I'll probably triple up on Man City, right? Because they're not going to have a semi-final. They're going to go 100% against Liverpool for the race, and they're going to be playing their hearts out against Burnley, against Leicester, against Brighton. So it really does depend what happens tomorrow night. It really does depend if Aguero plays tomorrow night. If he does, which I'd be surprised if he doesn't, but if he doesn't, then I want him even more. So there is still a lot to consider for Man City, and it's very difficult to say definitively who should be on the team. But Kevin De Bruyne's going to be minutes managed. He came back last time, got injured again. They're not going to do it this time. He's going to be managed. David Silva, they've said time and time again he can't play more than X amount of games, and that's true if you look at his history. The only one's Bernardo Silva, and he's cheap enough that you could do that. It's like me taking a punt on Ramsey. I could take a punt on Bernardo Silva. It'll be the exact same kind of thing, right? Minutes wise, risk rotation wise. Who am I missing? Anyone I'm missing? Mendy. Too risky. I wish I could do it. I really want to do it. I really want to just bring Mendy in and just go for gold and see what happens. But I think the fact that he's just back from injury and he's such a good player and they took so long to get him, they want to keep him fit. Really want you, Mendy. Really want you. MM says, Huddersfield is so bad, remind me of Aston Villa from a few seasons ago. Spurs will spank them. Yes, they absolutely will. And I really want to triple up on Spurs. If only they could keep a consistent defence line, right? I can't go Lloris because I've got Ederson, because he's the only one who's going to be there every game for Man City. Bravo's injured, remember, so there's not much risk of that. But I wish that Tottenham's defence were a little bit more organised. Aurier's injured, though, which is good because it means Trippier has to play, really. If Aurier's injured for a long time, which we'll find out, then that's better. But what do you guys think? I'm serious now because I'm not figured out the answer. I'm tweaking, I'm tinkering, and I haven't decided if I want Aguero in or yet. So please let me know if you're watching this. Please get in contact. Reasons for, reasons against. I've been racking my brain. So yeah. Right. Let's look at premium players. So transfers, all players, price, unlimited. Right. Sterling, like I just said, is rotation risk, so he's out. Salah's too expensive, so he's out. Hazard, no, obviously. Mane, I'm keeping in my team because of the good fixtures afterwards, but I'll probably he's gonna be okay. I'm not really worried about if he does or doesn't do well, because I think a lot of people are doing the same, right? The only thing I'm worried about is not having Salah, and if I have Eriksen, who gets, I don't know, I decide that I don't want him, like I could still maybe get Salah back with a bit of tinkering. So it's not a huge deal. I'm not too worried about it. Let's keep going down. We've talked about Eriksen, so that's fine. Ali's rotation risk, I'm not interested in him when I'm going Eriksen. And I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to do here, right? I think that's what my team's going to look like. Minus Pogba for Bernardo Silva or something. De Bruyne, Sané, David Silva, Mahrez are all rotation risk too much, so that I don't want any part of them. And then once we go down, Ozil definitely not. Once we go down, the premium players kind of stop, at least for the midfielders. For strikers, Lukaku and Aubameyang are out. Jesus definitely not. Higuain definitely not. Lacazette, Aguero, Vardy. Let's talk about Vardy. What do you guys think about this? When everyone keeps saying I might keep him for the rest of the season because he loves scoring against the big guys. What do you guys think about that? Because I actually looked up the stats on this. Liam says Son I don't think I like, just simply because his stats are nowhere near as good as Eriksen, and he is managed the most in terms of minutes, and he runs the most, and they have Champions League games. I'd rather have Eriksen, who's probably more nailed and probably will play 90 minutes most games. We'll see though. He might be rested against Huddersfield. We just don't know. Prediction for Chelsea game. I have Toby at the minute, but could be Jan. It's either Aguero or Sterling. Predictions for Chelsea game. I don't know. 3-0. Hazard goal. Cho goal. Higuain might get on the scoring sheet finally. As long as West Ham don't score, I don't care. Everyone's got Hazard. They've all got him captained. I actually hope he kind of maybe only scores one goal. But every time when Salah scored, my rank actually went up or down or whatever you want to call it. Like it went from 655th to 714th after Salah scored. And that was just because of how many people had captained him, and it's going to be even more people with Chelsea's Hazard, right? So I don't really want him to do that well. I triple captained him this week, so feel bad about getting rid of Vardy, but the other striker options are much better. Agreed. I'm between Aguero and Sterling as well, and I think the rotation has convinced me towards Aguero, says Dabo. Yeah. Aguero should play every game, but it's difficult. You guys want a Hazard hat-trick. If Hazard hat-tricks, my rank is going to go from 714 to outside the top 1,000, I think. Which isn't totally bad. I think I could get back in it, but yeah, we'll see about that. Right, Vardy. I don't know why I'm sitting on the bloody... There you go. Oh, it's because you guys can't see it. So Vardy for me is absolutely 100% too expensive to take a punt on against a single game week and 3 horrible fixtures. Where is Leicester? Bottom. Newcastle could score, probably will score. West Ham definitely can score. Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea. Now, everyone says Vardy scores against the big teams. He loves to score against the big teams. He's blanked in 5 of the big 6 games so far out of 9. Now that's just over half, right? That's really good for a smaller team player. And if you could say that just over half of the games he'll blank for the last 3, that means he's getting 1 goal or 2 returns out of a possible, I don't know, say he could get 2 returns every game. 2 returns max based on his previous stats. On top of that, Arsenal and Chelsea are fighting. Leicester aren't really fighting for much. They're kind of in already, right? Man City will just destroy them away, right? That's just happening. I can't see Vardy scoring against him. So less than 1 return, I would expect. And then a couple, maybe 2 returns, 3 returns in the next 2. So being realistic about it, 3 returns left for Vardy in the last 5 games that he can play. He is 9 million. 9 million. That he's not a Troy Deeney where you can just keep him for the rest of the season, 5.6. Like, Vardy's the difference between having Sterling and having Bernardo Silva. That is huge. It's the difference between having 2 premium defenders in Robertson and Laporte, or having Dunk and Duffy. It's a lot of money. And to punt on the potential because we fairy tale in this idea that Vardy is going to score against the big teams when he hasn't done, like, I wrote it down. I've got it. I did it. I did the things. I did it because I was like, I haven't seen that. And you know what? We also haven't seen Rodgers' tactics for Leicester against the big teams. I know as a Celtic fan, he likes to sit back. He doesn't like to attack that much against bigger teams. Crashed out of the Champions League, crashed out of the Europa League. He just set in his ways. So Rodgers, we don't know what he's going to do with Leicester. We don't know if he's going to let Vardy just go wild or not. We don't know. He's out of my team. He's not going to game my team. I've gotten rid of every single Leicester player for the rest of the season. Definitely, I'm not bringing in any of them. If someone keeps Vardy and he scores like 5 times, fair play. But based on the stats and the fixtures and the way that I've been playing this entire season, I think it's crazy. And there was an actual... this is a kind of a rant. It's the first time I've been, like, passionate about something. I seen a thread. It was like, am I crazy for keeping a Leicester? And there was keeping Vardy, and there were so many people going, I'm doing it. He's a season keeper, blah, 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 blah. Not for me. He's not for me. As a Chelsea fan, London Derby games are tough. Okay then, 2-0. 2-0. So yeah, not a big fan. So we've kind of went through all the premiums. You know where I stand on City. Probably only going to go for Aguero. Everyone else has managed minutes or rotation risk. The only thing I'm thinking is that Sterling is their best winger. He might get a game every game just because they're difficult games and he's young enough to pull it off. But Sané's sitting there in the wings waiting. Mahrez is sitting there in the wings waiting. I can't see them not being utilised. Eriksen over all the other midfielders. I still want Kane over every single striker. I'm fine with Mane in the team. Salah's too expensive. And I don't want Pogba, I don't think, anymore. But I'm keeping him in there just in case something happens. And as far as Arsenal strikers go, I'm not sure. I don't know. I think I'd rather Aguero and take the punt. So yeah, I think that's everything. Vardy is risky, Deeney's a much better option. Yeah, even Deeney. Go for Deeney. If you can't afford the strikers that I've got right now, which would be this actually once I sort them out. If you can't afford this, do not downgrade Aguero to Vardy. Downgrade him to Deeney and then upgrade someone here. Do something. Don't yeah, I understand that I've got a bit more value than a lot of people and I'm also below a lot of people, but Vardy's just not worth it. But anyway, I'm talking too much. I'm actually a happy person, guys. I'm actually always smiling, and Vardy's just annoyed me because it's not annoying. It's just a lot of players seem to be like just in this kind of Vardy's done well in the last 3-4 games, so we have to keep him. The best thing about playing is knowing when to fold, knowing when to get rid of players before they start their bad streak, knowing when to bring players in before their bad streak, selling high, buying low, as it were. So in conclusion, the stream, because we'll be going for quite a while and the game starts in 9 minutes, is that I'm definitely not done with my team. I definitely want a piece of all the double games, but we can't keep them in. I'm not going to go for Cardiff, though I understand if people go for, instead of Knockhart, they go for Camarasa or someone like that. I'm going to be keeping Mane and Robertson. I've already gotten rid of Salah. I really do want Eriksen. Kane and Jimenez are going nowhere. And I'm not 100% sure on my goalkeeper situation, but I do know that I'm going to be changing Ryan and Dunk and Knockhart before game week 35. So I could potentially do this and kind of use, I've got 4.7, maybe get someone else in there in anticipation, so I'm not taking 2 hits, but I will be taking at least 1 hit to get these, because I want these guys for the first week and I don't want them for the second. So yeah, there's going to be no viewer RMTs this week, and that's simply because we've got an Arsenal game in 9 minutes and we have so much. So I think I'm going to stream again. I haven't decided if it's going to be Wednesday or Thursday yet. I will let you guys know. We also haven't gotten a lot of information yet, Champions League, etc., and you guys are going to be tinkering loads and loads, so I think it's better to go and look at all of your teams on Thursday, for example, before we actually get into the game week, and I'll have a better idea with tinkering my team and who I want and who I don't want and stuff. But it's just a bit too early and there's too much information. It's not that it's too early, I usually do it on Monday and I'm fine, but I'm finding myself being overloaded. I've actually written like more than 2,000 words just on the first 4 teams that are in the doubles. So I'm not going to be doing the viewer RMTs. Hopefully this has given you some idea of where you want to go and what you're kind of thinking of. The fact that I'm taking hits for game week 34-35, the Arsenal game, sorry, Chelsea game, I said Arsenal, I keep saying that, it's the Chelsea game. Arsenal played Everton and they were shite. But yeah, I just don't feel like I'm adequately set up to do your RMTs this week. But I've written loads and I'm going to be doing loads, and throughout the next 90 minutes, because I can't post my my actual Monday after series that I do on Reddit, I can't do it while the game's on, so I'm going to be topping that up and writing even more. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of help with your wild cards. If you're not on wildcard, fingers crossed that your team is set up as well as it can be. I know I've been working with a few of you that you are not on your wildcard right now, and I know a few people are working on wildcards that don't have bench boost, in which case you can flaunt all your money into your starting XI. Wish I was there with you, kind of, because it's a lot easier to do that. And yeah, thank you very much for coming and Twitter and subscribe and all that good stuff. We have 5 minutes. Is there any questions? How do we do questions? Don't send me your team. But if you've got any dying questions that you got 50-50 or something. Thanks, Panda. I appreciate it. I'll give you guys a second to come up with questions. Like if you've got a 50-50, this guy or this guy, I can go through it. And while you guys think of that, I'm going to go and see who I can afford. Do I want cola? Good question. City. I want to go and see who I can afford and say, because really it's the same as last time. In my free hit, I took a punt on Eriksen because I had 9.4 million or something to spend, and this time it seems like I'm fine with most other places, but yeah, I've got that. I've got 8.6 again to spend on the big guy, and I don't really know who to get. So, say I go Bernardo Silva, right? If I do that, I have enough money. I have just enough money to do this. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Zero in the bank. It's a tasty looking team. But then what happens if I do this, which is what I want to do? And I go Foster. And then I add, who was it, Holobas? And Deulofeu. 1.1 million. So what if I do Hodge instead? Can I afford it? Ooh. I can't afford it. Maybe get rid of him. Who, for 4.4 million, can you get in Watford? We getting those questions going? There's not really many players that you could be for certain that are going to play. Cathcart. I'll figure that out. I'm 0.1 million or something off. That's annoying. We'll figure it out. Right, questions. Oh wow, loads of questions from you guys. So Liam says Martial, yes or no? No. Sorry, real quick. Stealth Pen says Robbo or Trent on Wildcard. Trent, I think he's just cheaper and you're going to get loads more. And the only reason I have Robertson in my team right now is because I have a lot of value in, and I think he's technically a better defender. But see, if I'm struggling to get this sorted and Deulofeu is actually not injured, I think I might change it anyway. So we'll see. But if you have no value tied up, then what's the point in spending extra money on someone who's going to get the same amount of clean sheets and potentially the same assists, right? Not worried about lack of rotation. I am absolutely petrified of rotation for Arsenal. That means Laka won't have a good game, but Lacazette has only been, let me see now, he's been rested once, I think. Yeah, he's rested against Tottenham. Or not rested, his minutes were managed against Tottenham. And he came off the bench and scored against Bournemouth. And that's it. So he played 55 minutes against Tottenham, 26 minutes, and the rest were pretty much full games. Nowhere near as risky as rotation as anyone else. So no, not worried about it. What to do with United? Benham. What was the last time Wolves kept clean sheet? Doherty, really. Doherty is a weird one, right? Because he hasn't been doing that great. But see, it looks like he's a lot of money, and I could do something with him. But he's only 4.4 for me. And there's not really much else I can... He's the same cost as Dunk. He's not a premium... I mean, he's premium now. If you bring him in, he's 5.2. I probably wouldn't. But he's only 4.4 for me. So that is probably the difference. Ben, how's it going, man? Sorry I came in late. Have you got a quick version of why you went Dunk over Duffy? Money. Duffy is a player that I would rather have. But for 0.3 million, you're not getting that much more than Dunk. And if 0.3 million is the difference between Peltier and Valerie, or Delafay or Højbjerg and I don't know, a random Hudson, if you've decided to do that or whatever, I don't know. I would definitely think about getting the money. It's not worth it, the difference, I don't think. If I've got 0.4 million sitting at the end of all my tinkering, then yeah, I'll throw some money in for Duffy. I'm only going to have Dunk for 1 week though. I'm going to trade him out. Davo says, do you think Ederson and Ryan is worth the extra over Foster and Ryan? No, I don't think so. Ederson is a punt. Foster and Ryan are a punt. The difference here is that I want a piece of Ederson for the rest of the games that he's playing, right? For Burnley, for Leicester, for Brighton. If you go Ryan and Foster, I think it's the second last game. Chelsea, so they've got Chelsea away 37, and Ryan has Arsenal and Man City at the end. So really, it's not looking good. You're not gonna. I mean, Wildcard is the best time to bring in a premium because it means that you're only going to have them for a short period of time right now. You're going to go for them for a short period of time, and then you're going to cut that off at the end of the season. Whereas back in the day, game week 6 or whatever, you could get 2 very, very cheap goalkeepers and upgrade from Dunk to Mendy or something. You could still have Ederson, and Ederson-like clean sheets, because you could assume that Mendy's going to play every single game. But right now, no one's safe, so Ederson's in my team instead. Stealth Panda says, Anderson defo scoring tonight. If any West Ham players score, I'm going to be raging. Chris Spencer, Dave, I'm tuning in from Portugal. Fancy rating my team. I don't have time to rate your team. Sorry, buddy. If you send me your teams, I'll have a look over them the next couple of days. Definitely going to do another stream, maybe Wednesday or Thursday, to just do tinkering and rate my teams. But for now, the game's kicked off 2 minutes ago. I'm going to go. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for watching. I know I ramble on. I know I talk a lot of shit. I should probably stop drinking, but thank you very much for coming. Like, it does absolutely mean so much to me. You guys care about what I'm doing, what I think. Skegness is not really in Portugal. Hilarious. Ben says, Foster may take a rest before FA Cup final. I saw someone suggest earlier to give Gomez a game. Yeah, that's absolutely true. The only times I want Ryan's for game week 34, and the only times I want Foster's for game week 35, sorry, and then I'll be playing Ederson for the rest of them, and that's kind of safe, right? I don't need to worry about the rotation. I don't really need to worry about the clean sheets for either of them. The way that I've set it up is for the least amount of worry, the least amount of effort, and it also means I get a piece of the clean sheets that City might be getting without having to go for Laporte. And Ederson's actually cheaper as well. It means I could potentially triple up on that tasty Tottenham, who have, from the top 6, have the best fixtures for the rest of the season. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much, guys. I'm gonna go watch the not Arsenal, the Chelsea game. So thanks. Yeah, it's been loads of fun. I'll speak to you guys later. Bye. Thanks, Ozzy. Thanks, MM. Cheers, everyone.